Happy Funky Friday! Okay, I'm feeling it. Woohoo! How's everyone doing? Hi Sandy, Elaine, Tom, Jeanette. Oh my God, y'all rocking it. Are you dancing with me? Did you dance with me? I might just have to put in like Friday being the funky dance day. You know, what do you think? That's kind of fun, isn't it? We can all dance together. I might not be able to see you, but I might be able to invite you and you can dance on the screen with me. Ooh, that would be fun. Who's feeling it? It's Friday. It's not TGIF in the sense of it's Friday, oh my gosh, what a week. No, actually, I feel really good. If you saw my video yesterday, I got a lot done in my house. I shifted some energy. I still got speckles all over me somewhere, places, who knows. I've got speckles of paint still in my hair. I'm certain of that. I lost you at the Robo Chicken, right? Thanks, Jeanette. Oh my gosh, you know, and I don't know, the song just popped in my head and I said, okay, and you know what? That's the song we're going to dance with today. So I was feeling fabulous when I woke up this morning. I'm laying in my bed going, oh, but my bed is so beautiful. It's so comfortable. Fresh sheets, fresh linens. Oh my gosh, what is better than taking a shower and just jumping into a bed that's fresh and ready for you to embrace you, cuddle you, comfort. Oh. So, how's everyone doing on this Friday? Hey, Debbie Grace, Andy, Spencer, which I know. Hey, how are you doing on this beautiful Friday? Hey, Tim. I am just, I was thinking, you know, maybe I'll kind of share a little bit in my kitchen about what I do. So I'm going to share some things. First off, you know, Tom always has his mugs, love mug, his manifestation mugs and all. Mine's not yet decorated. I got to work on that. Hey, Sarah. You might have to reset your app if it freezes. My internet might be funky, but I don't think so. We're good today. We've got a nice clear sky. It's gorgeous. Oh, right? Love mugs. What? Woo. So my mom, who is a true Sag at heart, so, and I think she might even be a triple Sag, okay? Sagittarians are known for being truth seekers, sometimes to their detriment, to the point where they don't realize the truth lies within, right? So, she sent me a bunch of mugs that have embossed on them, truth on one side, I know it's reversed, and love, right? Maybe some contrast or color. Here, look. See the love pepper. So we got the truth, which really is, love is truth if we really get down to it. And I'm not 100% certain. She may not realize that's the message. Sometimes she does. She's even subtler than me. But she sent me a couple different styles of mugs. A couple that are like, you know, all have that little angle. And then a couple with handles on them. So this is my fresh squeezed orange juice and kombucha. Homemade kombucha. And I like to add, oops, something fell. Oopsie. I like to add a little cinnamon, nutmeg, and ginger and allspice to it because it kind of picks up the flavor a little bit more. Ginger especially. Ginger's great in kombucha in any flavor mix. Yum, yum, yum. Oh my gosh, that is so good. So refreshing. So, refreshing. Speaking of which, it's Friday, it's summertime, and we need to work on keeping cool. And you know that's got a double meaning, of course. Keeping our cool, but keeping cool in the summer heat too, right? And our emotions can actually turn into literal physiological heat, right? Anybody out there with me? I know myself. I've been known to have a temper, even though most of my most recent friends have never seen it. And when it does come out, it's usually pretty bad. I'm a Leo, so I've got, I'm very, very passionate. And as my family will tell you, that when I get an idea in my head, I kind of stick on it and move through it. And then there's also the part where I had to work on a lot of that and not getting so stuck on it. So stuck on my belief system, right? I was talking about this the other day. Our belief systems are our biggest addictions. We have to question ourselves every day and be humble because we don't have all the answers. And from one day to the next, your truth changes in regards to your story, your filters of perception and belief systems, correct? Hey, Michelle Lynn and Christine. So glad you could all join me. Hi, Sarah. Come off with the pink shorts. What? What do you mean? Oh, I love these colors. These are like my favorite colors all. Yeah. But I also love Kelly green too. I grew up loving Kelly green and turquoise blue. Okay, I like color. But I also like to wear white because I just see how it amplifies. Thank you so much for all those hearts. I'm feeling love today. Ooh, I'm feeling the love. Thank you, Dawn. So are you. Woo! Working on the heat of the emotions. Ooh, hold that thought for a second. I heard something crash. I'll be right back. Speaking of heat, okay, here's something for those of you who believe in energy, believe in light working, believe in shifting energy. That was broken glass. That was the sound of broken glass. Today is a new moon. Okay, it's a new moon in Cancer, and it doesn't happen till about, I think it's a 6:06 tonight. And Debbie Grace, can you also shout out this one? I am infamous, and my other girlfriend Lisa will attest. She doesn't like me going in her kitchen. I've kind of broken a couple of her really cute little glasses, shot glasses that I used to pour the kombucha in. So this is embarrassing, but also who I am, what part of me, right? My authenticity. So I tend to find that when energy shifts, things break right around that time, big time. So I'm really good at breaking things like in the sense of glass. I had a beautiful, and I love this vase that I would put my flowers in, and it broke one day. It was one of those shaped, real kind of small around the top, and then it just formed, and I was washing it. Actually, I'd already finished washing it, and then it broke. I'm really good at shifting energy, probably because I'm so open to let's move this stuff, let's get rid of this stuff. And being a new moon and being all that I've been working on, we also had the solstice, which technically, from my understanding, is really a 3-day window. And we're coming through a huge gateway. You all know, we've been connecting like boom, boom, boom. The community, the tribe. Oh yeah, it was a pop. I'm going to tell you what it was in a second. So when we can come together, here we're all communing, the vibrations are drawing us all in. Those sassy vibes, everybody's kind of like, boom, and you go, wow, I'm connected here, and I agree with you, and I've got that going on, and I've got that going on, and let's support each other, right? Because this is all about spreading the love, sharing is caring, opening up, spreading our wings, right? Love, support, uplifting. So here, I was reading it as pops, not oops or poops, but yeah, I gotcha. Hey, Jen. I walked into the other room and I forgot to blow out my candles after doing my meditation earlier. I didn't realize it, but this is one of the things I tend to sometimes do. I get so, I get kind of on a train. I'm writing down and journaling what came through my meditation. I get up, I start moving, I start shaking, and then I go, this doesn't happen as much as it used to. But that's also the reason I ended up with smoke up along the wall, and I had to paint over that the other day. Because I forgot to blow out the candle. And in the case of the one that burned on the mantle of my fireplace, there was paper wrapped around it that I forgot to take off. So, that's funny. Yeah. So I walked in the other room because I heard the pop or the crack, and it was just a little base. And I had a candle that was down at the end and literally like on the last of its. I don't think I've ever had a candle really burned down to the point where it was literally just a sheet of wax and still the wick, which was pretty big. And I'm looking at that going, huh. Yeah, there's no coincidence. This happens to me. This is one of my little signs. This is just an affirmation, reaffirming that I know what I'm doing is moving mountains. I'm moving serious energy, especially when glass breaks. And I'm going to tell you each of those candles. My white candle is usually the spirit candle. Hey, Christiana. Hi. The other candle that burned out and the pop came from was actually Expect a Miracle. So we'll be seeing over the next, who knows how long, what manifests and comes from it, because for me, that's a big deal and really cool, because I'm like, I forgot about that. I hadn't broken glass in a while, I guess. But I painted and moved stuff around the other day, and I was chanting mantra, which, you're shifting and shaking some serious energy. So you got to remember, everything you do is moving that energy. When you stay stuck and the energy's stagnant, it's heavy. You literally feel it physically, emotionally. And that's where I was saying, we can get so caught up in our own moods and emotions that it creates that heat, and we need to bring it back and cool it off and refresh. Keep it cool, right? So, I have a couple breath exercises for you to try, because not only can you drink water, which I recommend it always to be room temperature. Here's why. Always drink room temperature water, because if you're drinking cold water, you're actually shocking your body. Not healthy. It's like basically jolting it every time you, especially those of you who like your ice water. Not good for you. I know, Christine, I can never have enough candles either. And hey, Chrissy, hey, Johnny. I find it interesting because years ago when I was in high school, I had a boyfriend who used to say, I don't like ice because it cracks my teeth. I was like, okay, I never knew that, never heard that. So consider that the next time you have ice water, that you may be creating that shock to your teeth that actually cracks it too. Hey, Carol. You're going to want to go back to the beginning and watch me dance, and dance with me though. You have to dance with me if you go back to the beginning. I might go and turn it back on and dance myself again. That was fun. So yes, room temperature water always. Don't get it cold. If you're going to do hot water, you don't want it boiling either, because you can actually burn your tongue. And I have read that if you have really, really hot water in your mouth, in the back of your throat, you can actually develop a trauma, which is can develop into a cancer. Now think about that, because every time you traumatize your system, whether it be the hot or the cold, your body is going into and then the shock, it's on that physical level, and this is on another level that's not even about the mental level, right? Well, it's always going to go back to the mind. But can you understand how that might happen, that you could actually keep on shocking your system? Because the body's a temple. You don't want to put anything in it that's going to cause it to have to stress out. You don't want to stress your body. To work harder in the sense of, oh, I have to take all these different components of what you just ate and figure out what the heck it is, and maybe even increase your white blood cells, because what happens is inflammation is a result of white blood cells. Anything that causes you to get puffy, swollen, constipated is causing an inflammation in your body. And inflammation, white blood cells, means your body is fighting off something or trying to heal something in your body. So the overall to consider is that whenever you take something into your body, again, always bless it. I love my water. I always bless my water, especially. And I always bless everything that I eat and drink, because it's a gift to yourself and a blessing for those who were part of the process, how you received it. There's such sanctity in recognizing the whole trail and going back to Mother Earth and the person who brought it to you, whether it be a farmer, whether it be a cultivator, or even the truck driver who drove it to wherever you picked it up, you know, the vendor you bought it from, whatever it is. Hey Russ, hi Joanne, hey Orlando, Master Shifu, nice to see you all. So, one wonderful way to just cool the body, and especially if you're in a bad mood, is actually left nostril breathing, because this is the moon side. I know you're seeing my reflection, so don't be confused. This is actually my left. It's like I'm looking into a mirror, and I meant to switch it, but I forgot. And what you want to remember is you're gonna keep your fingers up like it's an antenna, and keep them together. And you can let your arm rest on your side. If you're sitting down, you can put your other hand in Gyan Mudra, and just close off the right nostril. Close your eyes down, and you can focus on the tip of the third eye, right between the brows. And you can just long, deep belly breathings down into the pelvic floor. Expanding up through the rib cage, up through the clavicle, and then exhaling. And it all lowers. And you pull in at the navel point. And then you inhale. And listen, tap into the sound of your own breath. can come back. You can remove your hand. Hey, Paul. And you can always come back for more, Russ. Definitely. So let me know, how does that make you feel? Because in times where you're in that, I'm ready to attack someone, I'm ready to kill someone, whatever, how does that change your vibration? How does it change your breathing? Because ultimately, you're going to notice a difference, and you might not even remember what you were thinking about beforehand, which is a good thing, right? Are you still feeling grr? What do you think? Is that good? Did it work for everyone? If not, there's another one that I really like. And depending on if you genetically, because this is something, you grounded us, yeah. I should have put the kitty on there, right? The sexy kitty. So, tuning into yourself. Can you curl your tongue? Do you all remember when you were a little kid and everybody was doing, I can roll my tongue? I even knew somebody who would do this really cool warpy thing. It looked like a clam. It was the funkiest thing. I'd never seen anything like it before. I was like, I can't even do it. I'm not even close. Hey, Chip. So, yeah, Sitali Pranayama is another amazing, and it actually detoxifies the body and it cools you off. So, with this one, I hope you're all comfortable and you're enjoying this, because you can never get enough breath, right? Life force pranayama. Deep down into the pelvic floor. You got to make sure you're really feeling the breath reaching down there. Really nice and deep, because when you're going deep, you're clearing out all that emotional garbage. You know, I was saying in one of the first videos that many of you were just tuning into me on, was that the left lung carries grief. It holds your grief in. And then when you start breathing, because most of the people who are not dealing with a lot of their grief, they're really shallow breathers. And if that left lung, it's carrying a lot of grief, which you probably have had if you were a shallow breather, especially up in here. Once you start breathing really deep into that pelvic floor, you're really touching upon that grief. You're bringing it up to surface. So never be surprised if emotions surface, if tears surface. Make them tears of joy for the fact that you just sat there and actually were able to allow it to come up, to bubble up. Because the breath is going to heal you in all ways. It's the only thing you need to really survive on this planet as a human incarnated soul, right? If you don't have breath, you have no life. That's why it's called the life force, right? You can even do without water. There are people called breatharians, living without the breath, without the food. I'm sorry. I got so caught up in the word breath. Breatharians, you know, and that's just a choice. It's a lifestyle. Some of us choose to come here and to do that. And some of us choose to come here and go through a different journey. But it's really awe-inspiring to see somebody who is so fully tapped in to the breath and the prana that they can go without food. I mean, I find that impressive. I don't know about y'all. Hey, it's how you doing? I personally feel I came here to enjoy and savor all the flavors and all the senses and to really awaken them fully. And that's why in the future, if you want to join me on a retreat, we will indulge in the senses, because it's all about reawakening the ecstasy within. And I'm not even talking about sex, because there are things out there that will blow your socks off that are so much better than sex. It's just that we've been programmed, we've been conditioned. We got all this media, external stuff conditioning us and drawing us over there when everything we need is right here. Right? So in order to really fully feel even an intimate thank you even intimacy with another person, when you are having that sacred union, when you decide to have something of a physical connection, it's something to be savored. And the more you awaken your senses, stay celibate until you can really get that honing down on the five senses, the touch, the taste, the smell, the sound. What I miss? I think I got caught up. Chip, you might have to restart your app or your phone because sometimes that happens. Yeah, I mean, if you really want mind-blowing experiences in all shapes and forms in your life, you've really got to tap into your senses. It really is about awakening within, because when people see you, like I say, I'm like, you're gonna glow. People are gonna be like, I want some of that. I want what she has. You know, ever since I was a little girl, my mother and my sisters and I, we have this little joke. We're like, why is it we can go to a store, doesn't matter what kind, and we'll get in a line that there's nobody there. Like, we get this perfect opportunity. We get to the line. There's no line. But then all of a sudden we look back behind us, we feel like we've been followed. They're all flocking after us. It's kind of the same thing. You know, your energy, your vibration, when you get aligned with your soul and in touch with all the senses, because we came here to live this physical form, this life. We didn't come here to be monks. Some did. But I'm just saying that the true guru within you, when you tap into that, you can sit amongst the chaos. You will be the calm one. You will be the one that holds the space for all of those freaking out around you. You know? Freaky Friday. Who knows what's going on out there, but you know what's going on inside. That's what is most important. Get out of the fear of missing out and having to turn on the TV and find out what's going on, because all that's going to do is lodge something into your mind that your mind is going to get fixated on, and you're going to have a hard time getting it out of your head. Haven't you ever watched a clip or a movie or something and you're like, man, I couldn't get it out of my head. You go to bed, you have dreams, and you wake up the next morning, darn that movie, darn that whatever, and you're just like, I can't believe I had dreamed about the stuff. I mean, it gets lodged in you. You've got to walk around and just tune out a lot of this stuff, this chaos, because it's not serving you. Hey, David. Hi. So, the other form of breathing that's really good to reset, refresh, cool you off in the temperature, because this is something that I find kind of ironic. A lot of people, first off, I was saying, most important, room temperature water. You don't need cold water to cool you off. If anything, like I was saying before, it's a total shock to the body. You need something, your body's going to be like, that's just right. And I'll take a sip as we speak. Because you have to balance. If I'm drinking kombucha, it's a little drying because of the tea content, and I need to hydrate. Right? TV blackout, I'm telling you. I don't even own a TV. Well, I do, but it's in Germany, so that's not gonna, it doesn't matter anyway, right? Somebody else is using it. I do like to watch movies and stuff, but I try to stick to comedies, uplifting movies that are inspirational, sometimes documentaries and things like that. I do have to admit, I am hooked on Outlander. I have this fascination with time travel. I love the idea that, you know, I do believe in it, whether we do it when we dream, whether or not we're able to do it even now. I have a suspicion we can. I always have. Since I was really young, I've always believed in reincarnation. I remember reading a book, and the cover of it, I think it was called Firestarter, where it was about a reincarnation. I'm not even sure. I'm not talking about the movie, but it might have been based on the book, because I read a lot when I was a kid. But I'm not a fan of the horror. Even the word sounds horrible. Horribile. So, yes, good movies are always good. And I love romantic comedies and romance and stuff like that. Yes, Being John Malkovich. I've seen that. So, if you can curl your tongue, find yourself comfortable in a seat, at the least. Make sure you're not driving because, well, you can drive and do this. You can keep your eyes open. This actually is possible to do with your eyes open. But ultimately, if you're in a space and you don't have other distractions, that'll really make it more powerful. It'll integrate better with your body. So, curl in the tongue. You're going to sip air through the curled tongue like you're sipping through a straw. Again, it's long, steady, deep down into the pelvic floor. Ready? And you can just keep your hands in Gyan Mudra. These are wisdom. This is really the posture of wisdom. So you can receive the wisdom, right? So sometimes things will drop in for you. You'd be like, oh, there's an answer to the question I had earlier, right? So if you were freaking out about something that happened, this is the best thing to do right then and there. Go, okay, I need an answer to solve this problem. All right, I'm doing Sitali Pranayama. So, sticking the tongue out, sip in the air. Focus the eyes, close down at the third eye point. And exhale out the nose. Make this your last one. How do you feel? How are the quality of your thoughts? Share below. I want to hear from you. I want to know how you feel. How did that help you? Do you see a difference between the Sitali Pranayama and the left nostril breathing? Does anybody see a subtle difference? For myself, and both of them are amazing anyway, as it grounds me, centers me, and it just feels, yes, I feel much more relaxed, but I also, especially because when you're really keeping the eye gaze up at your third eye with your eyes closed, you start to feel the pulsations and the energy up around the third eye. Yes, clear-headed is extremely helpful because what it's doing is it's resetting your neurons, your wiring. It's stimulating all of your glands in the glandular system. It's resetting, rebalancing. Again, this prana, you can heal any disease with the breath. I don't care what doctors do or don't say. It's about tapping into your inner power, your guru, your temple. We incarnated into this life to have this human experience, but we're also meant to remember that we are still a soul and that we are all united by the breath. We are all united energetically, that the breath actually, again, like I keep saying, when you breathe in, you are breathing in divine, universal energy, life force. You're breathing in the breath that everybody else is breathing. How could you not be connected? I'm breathing in the breath that you have probably breathed at some point during your life, so I know how connected we are. We've passed through areas, space and time, maybe not even physically, but it's all connected and all interwoven, and it's just beautiful. And when you really tune into that, you're like, wow, how cool is that? I'm jazzed, because it means that even though I'm not there with you, I know that the breath I take in is the love you exhaled. And that's inhaling love, exhaling love. The purity, the cleansing, the life force and sustainer. And just having the gratitude for your breath first thing in the morning, I mean, that sets the day right there. Don't think about the first thing that, so a lot of times we're waking up like, oh, I got to attack something. Oh, I got to do something. But truly, we need to first be grateful for the breath of life, that we are alive. Energy is pulsating throughout the body. The breath is invigorating it. It's refreshing it. It's cleansing it. It's sustaining it. It's so amazing what the breath does. If you didn't breathe, you couldn't eat. You couldn't drink. You couldn't walk. You couldn't talk, because you wouldn't be alive. And there's a lot of people walking around who aren't quite all alive because they are shallow breathers and they're choking themselves. They're suffocating because they're not breathing fully. And that's why it's so important, so key to really work on the breath. If there's nothing else you do, the one thing you can do to improve your life is to breathe fully and to be grateful for it and to really tune in and tap into it and feel it throughout your entire body and the pulsations, the aliveness that the breath gives you. If you did nothing else, of course I know you'll eat, that would cure most of your problems, because it's all up in the mind. And we just got to keep the mind busy and off of those other things and come back to our center. So, hey Carl. So what happens with my kombucha is it tends to separate the orange juice from the kombucha. Nummy. Nummy, nummy, nummy in my tummy. So I brew my own kombucha, and that's another way you can cool off. But be aware, we're not talking about drinking a whole lot of kombucha, because it can be stimulating. There is still caffeine and there still is some sugar Because if you don't know about kombucha, thank you, Christine. If you don't know about kombucha, it's this symbiotic culture of bacteria and yeast. Okay, it's like cellulose, because that's what it becomes. It gets stimulated by the tea, and by stimulating it, you add sugar, and it eats the sugar, and the byproduct, it's cool because it becomes this big, thick patty on the top of all of it. Some people think it's a little gross. If you ever chew on it or eat it or get a strand of it or a piece, I know there's some in my kombucha. I just hadn't quite yet caught it. It's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with it. It's actually, there's some cool things they're doing with it. I wish I had a dehydrator, because I would be making kombucha SCOBY jerky. That would be the bomb, right? So I started doing this back in, I think it was 2011. And mostly because I was just so curious, and I'm the type of person who loves to experiment in the kitchen. That's why I call it my laboratory. I'm an alchemist in the kitchen. Because everything I touch, as far as I'm concerned, turns out really yummy. I've had my flub ups, and but I'm like, okay, we can do this. And when I first started reading about it, the information out there was acting like it was something you had to have this super sanitary environment. And I'm already obsessive compulsive in a lot of things when it comes to cleanliness. Though I've gotten a lot better, because if you've seen my places before this, it was really like white glove clean. And I really like things to be tidy and neat. And that is also energy. Because the tidier you are, thanks Tom, the tidier things are around you, the less cluttered the mind feels, right? Because clutter just is a reflection of our mind. And I am one to admit that, because I have so many boxes full of stuff and so much stuff to get to and work on for me, that's something I want you to inspire me to do. So I probably will use the live Facebooks to share what I'm trying to purge or work on. Bananas and peanut butter. Oh yeah, yum. You never had a banana and peanut butter toasted sandwich? I used to love those when I was younger. We'd take toast, because actually the crunch was kind of nice too. And I didn't like the crunchy peanut butter as much as the smooth, but I didn't dislike it either. Kind of funny. Okay, squirrel. See, Carl, you got me off on that little tangent. I love that movie Up. Squirrel. Where was I? So yeah, the clutter is a reflection of the mind. And I don't know about anybody else, but I can't stand clutter. It drives me up the wall. If I could, and I had a bunch of closets, I would have everything hanging nice and neat and organized. But because I don't have the space, I'm stuck with the boxes, and then I don't know what's in them. But the good thing is it's like Christmas. Whenever I open it, I'm like, oh yeah, I almost forgot I had that. Or like somebody will see me wear something and, ooh, that's nice. Where'd you get that? I'm like, out of a box that's been sitting for a few years. And you need to kind of change it up and shake off the dust, or although I'm really good about keeping my stuff clean, because I was taught growing up, when you get clothes, you get good quality, you have them tailored, you take care of them, that kind of thing. And I've always taken care of things, whether it be a gift or something I purchased, because to me that I've always appreciated first that I was able to buy for myself certain things. So I like to take care of my stuff, because appreciation for what you can have, buy for yourself is really important too. Instead of just going out and randomly buying stuff, which can be its own addiction, obviously. I appreciate what I have. And so when someone gives me a gift, oh my gosh, I'm even more appreciative. For me, I even put my gifts that I receive and the gifts that I give out, I put them on my altar to bless them before they go out and when they come in, sometimes before I even open them. Because it's just the acknowledgement, the gratitude and appreciation that I received this and that I can give this. So it's that energetic exchange. Aw, thank you, Tom. I appreciate that. Because that's the thing. We tend to just kind of take things for granted, right? And especially because a lot of things weren't given to me. Maybe that's why I appreciate things more. so that when I do receive something, I'm that much more appreciative. I mean, I didn't expect things to come to me, but I would ask for things when I was a kid, and I didn't get a lot of what I asked for, but that's okay. Thank you, Christine. But life is about embracing and appreciating every aspect of it. And if someone takes the time to get you a gift, oh my gosh, that's time, energy, that's attention. They thought of you. Even if it's something you're like, I don't like it. It doesn't matter. In the end, it's still that energetic exchange. Maybe they just grabbed it off the countertop and it was just something they didn't want. My mom does that, by the way. She recycles gifts. Nothing wrong with that either, because sometimes that's what you can do. But if you're going to do it, at least have this ritual, this appreciation, and send that person a blessing and a love that they at least took the time to give you something. Even your time is worth a lot. Yeah, to me, again, I said this yesterday, time is precious. Time is energy. To me, it's more priceless than any money could ever be put on it. So most people don't understand, I don't want to pay for this or I don't want to pay for that. And that's what I was trying to explain yesterday. I don't know if I touched upon it fully, but energetic exchange. Your time is worth money. So if it's something that you value, again, this goes back to valuing yourself. You're worth it. If you're ever on the fence about investing in yourself, ask yourself, am I worth it? Because maybe you have the money, but you're not putting yourself up there as number one as a priority. I am worth it. So I'm grateful I can pay for it, and I willingly, with gratitude and appreciation, am going to invest in myself. That changes the energetic vibration around the whole situation. Right? I love recycling. Let me tell you, I'm pretty bad about that too, because sometimes I'm like, well, maybe I should keep the boxes, because if I start getting rid of stuff, I'm going to need boxes to put it in if I have to ship it or send it to someone, right? Nothing wrong with that. But then I also know that I can always go down and probably stop at a couple of department stores. You can always get boxes from places, right? But yeah, so it's really, remember, you're worth it. And when you question someone's cost or value or price, you have to ask, is it going to serve you first? Is it something you really want? Don't put yourself on the bottom and say, oh, I don't want to pay for that. Oh, I wouldn't pay for that. Well, there's so much judgment around paying for something that you don't even want anyway. Why are you even going there? So there will be people who turn around and go, I don't know why anybody would ever buy that vehicle, let's say, for example. Well, because it's not you. Why would you even try to figure it out? That person clearly is invested in themselves. That is what they wanted, needed, or whatever the circumstances. Take yourself out of the picture because it's none of your business. Who cares? Bring yourself back to yourself. It's just a contrast to make you go, yep, doesn't work for me, but good for them. Bless them. Be grateful that they can take care of themselves, because that's what we're all trying to do, is work on ourselves. Just sometimes we get distracted by everyone else and everything else that's going on around us, that we forget to tap back in and recognize, oh, what am I worth? How am I investing in myself? So for example, if you really want to learn something and you find a coach, you might want to sit down and say, okay, I really want to work with that person. Like for me, years ago, I've always been inspired by Shiva Ray, because she's an amazing Ashtanga yogi. I mean, who wouldn't want to train with somebody who's been working all their life to perfect this method of yoga? And she has created her own. So I went with her twice in trainings and invested in myself because I loved and adored and admired her so much. These are things we have to determine. Yeah. Hi, Tina. It's not always a clear line either, because maybe you can't afford it, but you can always ask. So it never hurts to ask. If you can't afford something, ask the other person, is it possible for me to make payments? Because I really want to invest in myself. I really want to do this for myself. I want to buy this for myself. What's the worst that's going to happen? I mean, we got credit cards too. I mean, that's without even having to ask. Most people have a bunch of credit cards with a bunch of Zero balances, maybe still money on them, if not full. But in the end, it's really going to boil down to, okay, I really want this. How can I make it happen? And so that's how I use the power of prayer and meditation first for the solutions, so they drop in. Just guide me. God, make me an instrument of your peace. Show me how it is I can serve. Help me to see the path in order for me to know what I need and how to move forward. And sometimes it's just those steps. They're building blocks. Everything we do in life is building blocks. And the actions we take can be guided in such a way that we're going, wow, isn't that cool? I asked for it, I received it. It just didn't come in the way I thought it should. So sometimes we think it should arrive in a certain way, and if it doesn't, we think, oh, it hasn't happened, so then it's not going to happen. And then miraculously, all of a sudden, there's a check that you didn't expect that comes in the mail for a refund for something, or a lawsuit, or whatever the silliness. And you're going, oh, that was cool. I get it now. But you got to recognize these things. You've got to acknowledge the gifts and the signs and the blessings that come into your life, and be appreciative of them. Put them on your altar. You know, when you get that check, put it on your altar when you're doing your practice, because that's what I do. And it'll increase the vibration because you're being grateful and you're blessing the situation, the people, the places, things, exchanging that energy. And who knows how that unfolds, and it keeps on unraveling. Because what happens when you get jazzed up because something good happened in your life? You're like, woohoo! And then other things keep on happening, right? So, anybody want to see what my kombucha SCOBY looks like? Anybody? Anybody out there? Maybe I'll do it another time then. So I've been making kombucha since 2011. It's when GT Dave was taken off the market for a while. I did this or that, or either him or her. So kombucha has a SCOBY, like I just explained. And I really wanted to do this because my curious mind was like, maybe I'll have to see if I can do it myself, because it sounds pretty darn simple. And I was at first a little hesitant because of my OCD and the whole keeping things clean and being concerned about the whole, oh, it has to be like white glove treatment. I need to pull out one anyway. I have a smaller one, and then I got the big beast. Oh, thank you, Laura Lee. Now there's a testimony, because I do have friends who have tried my kombucha, and I'm not going to tell you, but everybody always tells me it's the best. And I pour my love in it, and I bless it with crystals. I usually do it right before the new moon and the full moon, and we have a new moon today. It's a little later. I forgot about it yesterday. I was thinking I was going to get to it, and I didn't because I was painting away. So I'm going to go get the kombucha. So it has its own special stand. Can you see my baby? Oh, so cool. It's got a few layers. So, I'm not going to, because you won't be able to see it on the sides because of the way I set up the camera today. But, there's a couple ways I check it to see if it's ready to be brewed. And I'm pretty sure this needs to be brewed. Because like I said, I meant to do it the other day. And if you go a little bit too longer, you know, it just eats more sugar. And if you don't get it in time or you get it too soon, it's just going to be sweeter. But when you put it in the bottle, it's always still fermenting. It's still eating it. So what I tend to do, and I reuse bottles, but I've also got the flip tops as well. I will flavor or put them in the bottles. What's kombucha? Kombucha is a symbiotic culture of bacteria and yeast. This is a SCOBY that produces a probiotic by being stimulated by the caffeine in the tea that you brew, and then it eats the sugar, and then it makes kombucha. Does that help? So, I'm always using spoon, the wooden spoon, to stir it, because you don't want it to really, it has to be in glass. That's the best way to keep it, is in glass. plastic I don't trust because again it makes it's acidic. I mean, it's gonna change in your body, but oh, that would be so cool, Tom. Oh my God, I'd come to Hawaii. I've been there. I love Hawaii. I haven't been there in years. And I stirred around first. See how, because what happens is you're technically, and just be careful, because those little fruit flies, I'm going to warn you right now, they are so intelligent and so smart that they can get in through cheesecloth. Don't even try doing a cheesecloth cover. I just use the lid because the air is getting in there. I'm not saying they can or can't get in there, but I also have a towel that I put over it because I had an experience years ago when I lived in Naples, Italy. In 2012, I had the continuous brew with the spigot, and I would keep a little cup or something up underneath the spigot, and I would keep it in a, actually I had it in a cabinet. I had cheesecloth on it. I lived in an apartment that didn't have access or outside windows. It was like a small little set-in, and then in order to get to the windows, I had to walk outside of my door, and there was, you know, it overlooked in an internal, like the internal of the building. You know, you go, if you've ever been to Europe, you look through these big doors, and there's like this area, sometimes there's gardens in them, in between the actual building. It's kind of cool. So, oh, whew. I was a little concerned there. How are we doing? Woo! So I went in to get my kombucha that time. And let me tell you, yeah, I saw that. Something must be shifting. There might be a storm coming. I do see some dark clouds. So I'm looking out my window at the front of my house. And I just saw some dark clouds that way. So anything's possible. Might mean I might need to do this another time. So as I went to go get my kombucha, the continuous brew, which, whew, I learned that lesson. Yeah, they kind of get through the weaving, and I had it, you know, folded over several times over the top of it with the plastic thing holding it on there. And then I was like freaked out because then it was all, it was gross. Not something I'm going to rehash. Let's just say when fruit flies get in there, they're just populating, laying their eggs. So what I do is I get in here and I stir it up. Hey, Diana. Diana's gotten some of my scobies from me before. This is my kombucha. I think it's a 2-gallon container. So I stir it up. I always smell it. I got to check out what things are going on in there. Because sometimes it, you know, different teas, whatever it is you use to brew. Never use anything with an oil in it, like don't even go there with English tea, because the bergamot will cause it to curdle. My sister sent me a picture one time when she was in Germany and I was in Italy. I brought her a SCOBY and some kombucha, and she sends me this picture, and it was all popcorny looking, and I'm like, yeah, not so good. And she's like, yeah, I don't know what could have caused it. I'm like, what kind of tea did you use? And it turned out she used an herbal tea blend, like it was tea, because you have to have caffeine for this to work. You can do herbals, but it would have to be a second ferment or a mix with at least something. I have special brew, so I kind of mix things around. I absolutely love white tea's my favorite to use. It's not the cheapest though, it is more expensive. But I really like to use yerba mate. Now, there are different varieties of yerba mate. You can get smoked and unsmoked. And if you get smoked, you're going to feel the difference in the flavor. Okay? Oh my gosh, Carl, this is what I'm drinking. I'm drinking fresh squeezed orange juice mixed with ginger, allspice, cinnamon, and nutmeg. I just got the little SCOBY from that one. Yum. Yummy. The spices for me, I love spices. So that's another thing. So I really enjoy. It is sweeter. I can smell the sweetness. Okay, this is what I do. This is just me. Hey, Cindy. Hey, Brenda. Woohoo! Brenda's on at 5 p.m. today, so hook up with Brenda and watch what she's got some good recipes coming up this evening. I'm curious what you got in the kitchen. I've got, so just in case you're just tuning in, This is my SCOBY, my kombucha brew. Discussing how to keep fresh and cool during the summer. First, most important is the water, but even before that, it's the breath. It's all about breathing. Okay? Ooh, it's got the tang. Now, it's not going to be fizzy from this point. What I do is I reuse GT Dave bottles that I've had for, people give them to me too because they know how I am. And I'm silly because if I ever give you a Pop Top bottle, I'll be like coveting it. Like if I don't think you're going to be someone who gives it back to me, I'll give you a different bottle. I covet my glassware, right? And yeah, Brenda, I teach Kundalini Yoga, so that is prana, life force. It is the most important thing you could ever, if you're not breathing, you're not living, right? So when I brew, like I have a watermelon next to here. Late after I get off with you here, I'm going to brew using the watermelon. And what I brought in from my garden. Have you ever seen fresh stevia leaves? Let's see. So I have stevia and I have fresh mint. And the fresh mint, I just picked it before I went online with you. So we have, this is stevia. You need smell-o-vision, I'm telling you, scent-o-vision. You know, that's mint. And this is stevia. Hey Tom, do you want me to click the invite and then you can ask me any questions? Because I'm sure you're curious about my SCOBY. Give me a thumbs up and I'll click invite. I just saw that you came back on. I'm probably because of my broadcast going away, right? Woohoo! Oh, that's awesome, Brenda. Good for you. That's awesome. Who's your teacher up there? Who's the teacher you practice with? Are you doing it online? It's a small community. Like right now, all of the Kundalini community that did go, summer solstice is out in, what is it? Out in New Mexico. It's, what's it called? Espanola. Yeah. So, I know, right? Growing more. Christine's got an amazing garden. Oh my gosh, I love seeing your posts about what you've got going on there. I want to see that purple pepper when it's full too. So, yeah, I have like a funnel, and what I'll do is I'll scoop it out using this. And I'll measure it out like 6 of these equals a full bottle. So, oh, self-taught is good. Oh, that's a different type of Kundalini. So it's not Kundalini as taught by Yogi Bhajan. It's the other Kundalini and the Yogananda. Two different Kundalinis entirely. So the Kundalini yoga I teach was taught by Yogi Bhajan. He came here in the 60s when all the big teachers were coming and they were doing the peace movement, you know. Everybody knows 69 Woodstock, right? That stuff was coming out in California long before. So, yeah, and you know what? If you've never eaten stevia, I'm telling you, you don't know what you're missing. I'm not talking about that powdered, ooey gooey, gross stuff, because to me, that powdered stuff is disgusting. It tastes chemically. Like, you can feel chemical in it, right? And it's actually really good for your teeth. And it's got some antibacterial properties to it. It's so sweet. One leaf can be so sweet. So when you make something with stevia leaves versus the powder, you really don't need much. I'm like, it's really sweet. And some of my leaves have been huge. I've gotten huge leaves off of that. So, oh, you know what, Cindy? I'll give you seeds. I got tons of seeds. And send me a message with your address and I'll put a bunch of seeds. You want some basil seeds too? I got tons of seeds. So, anything else? Any questions out there you have for me? Anything you don't know about kombucha? I'm not necessarily going to brew here right with you online because this can be a long process. Sometimes it takes me hours. It just depends on if I decide to flavor it. But if I don't decide to flavor it, I'll just put it straight. A lot of times what I'll do is I'll use the 16-ounce bottles versus the 8 ounce. No, the 32 ounce, because these are 16 ounce. Did I mention I have an issue with like figuring out metrics and stuff? I'm just, numbers. I don't know why. I'm like, yeah, one of these bottles. So yeah, the 32 ounces. Woohoo! Seed sister, I like it. Stevia is the bomb, Carl. I'm telling you, it's something. I mean, there's other stuff out there too. What is the other thing? The acacia? There's all these different sweeteners that are naturally sweet. I mean, just like if you make banana nice cream and you're adding just fruit, why do you need to add any type of sweetener to it? Like dates are super sweet in themselves. You don't need sweeteners. Just use the fruits of nature. You got sweeteners right there. And I've made some amazing flavors with this. I'm going to put this back on top. Fortunately, I have kept it pretty clean in here, so I don't have any buggies to worry about. So, but sometimes I'll see them. I'm like, I see you. I'm like, woohoo! I'm all in my protective mode, right? I do love numbers, Carl. In fact, I'm sure if you're really into it, you probably see numbers all the time, right? Especially duplicates. Hey, David. Thanks for joining. Monk fruit. Oh, yeah. You know, I've never seen monk fruit fresh. That would be very cool. Tina, can I suggest staying away from the agave? The agave I don't like. I don't trust it. I think it's just as bad as corn syrup, to be totally honest with you. I think a lot of the sweeteners, once you've processed it, this is my personal opinion. Oh my gosh, pineapple sage plant. Ooh, I want one of those. I love sage. Sage is kind of hard to grow outside. I'd have to grow it inside anyway. My gosh, pineapple. See, I'm allergic to pineapple. And I so miss it because I used to eat it like crazy. That's probably why I'm allergic. Because when it finally got to the point where I was getting like literally canker sore looking, like I had herpes, for 2 weeks it took to heal it. So it's so good for bromelain. Yeah, so let me go back to the agave. I can't recall where I read it. There's some stuff out there. And even then, I just, intuitively, I feel like agave, just like corn syrups. Maple syrup's different because maple syrup is actually coming, and technically I like maple syrup when it's fresh from the tree. It's really liquidy. It's not boiled down. That's my favorite way to have it. But the agave, I don't trust it. I just feel like it's not a healthy alternative. If you had to do, let's see, sweeteners, your sweeteners are jalapeno and cayenne pepper. I love that. I love spicy, right? But truly, you want to stick to something that's a little closer to nature in the terms of most of the stuff they're selling out there, people are grabbing because it's an easy grab. I've also had the coconut nectar, and they have coconut granules. I don't even like to use sugar. The only reason I use sugar is for the kombucha. I don't use sugar in anything. Sweeteners, when I make chocolates, for example, I have been known to use dates. It's a little bit harder of a process, but it turns out really good. I've been using stevia as well. There are some stevia brands out there that I do like, and they're usually the ones that have a little bit of flavor, like a vanilla or butterscotch to it. But I personally don't use a lot of sweeteners if I can help it. But again, it goes back to the fruits of nature. If you get it in its original form, and whenever you process something, now you've changed its chemical composure, and your body will see it as like, especially sugar. Sugar is the most addictive thing out there. It's like they say it's worse than cocaine. It's worse than crack. Because it creates this chemical dependency within us. And if you ever detox from sugar, and sugar is probably the biggest cancer causing too, I want to point that out. Whew, it's because it's carcinogenic after something is cooked, right? When you have caramelized onions, for example, that has become carcinogenic because it's caramelized, it burned down, right? Anything burned, smoked, let's say barbecued, is actually cancer causing. So cigarette, right? What brand of what? Yeah, I mean, it is confusing, and you've got to find out what works, and really pay attention when you take it in your body. See how you react. Because sometimes I'll have something and I feel it coursing through my veins, my blood. I'm like going, okay, some excitotoxin just launched into my bloodstream, and it freaks me out because I'm like, oh, this isn't good. This is not good, because I feel it, and then it means I have to flush it and detox it out of my system. A good example was when I went down to a restaurant and they were using balsamic vinegar and it was a raw vegan place. And I knew I love balsamic vinegar when I do have it, but I learned when I lived in Italy that you have to be careful about the heavy metal content and the arsenic and the other mercury, lead, who knows, because it sits in those barrels and you just don't know, right? It is aged, it tastes delicious, it's sweet again, right? So here I am eating this, and I turned to my dad, and my dad had something. Oh, he had the Thai soup, and he didn't finish it all because it was really, really strong. I ended up eating that too. I do that. But I sat there going, holy crap, Dad, I can feel this going into my veins. This is really weird. And I was sharing that with another girlfriend. So you really got to tune in. Again, it's the most important thing you can do is listening to your body and seeing how it responds to food. And even journaling helps, because from one moment to the next, you'll watch your mood will shift. You watch people who eat meat. See how they act and respond after they've eaten meat. This is a great example, because you're getting a shot of these hormones. When you eat and consume another animal, you're eating their last moments, because the cortisone from their stress of death. At that last moment, you're eating that. You're also eating how they were raised. You're eating their fear, their frustrations, their anxieties, their aggression. That is being pumped into your system, which is why it is important not to eat, sentient beings. But that's just something to give you food for thought. Just saying. So as far as sweeteners, I say sparingly. Here's what I have been known to use, and I sometimes use them in my kombuchas, because sometimes I'll do a watermelon and vanilla, and sometimes I'll do watermelon and mint. Today I'm going to do watermelon and mint. This is going to probably come up backwards, but I have used the sweet leaf. This one has no alcohol in it either. So if you're a recovering alcoholic and you do avoid alcohol at all costs, this does not have alcohol. This is actually just purified water, organic stevia leaf extract, natural flavors, which I'm always a little hesitant on, and vanilla extract. So those are the only things in there. And then I have this other brand. I was actually going to give you a little tour of my kitchen, but I might do that another day. I'm already giving you a lot of information to take in, so not everybody wants to sit through all this. Oh, here we go. This is the liquid stevia. This is what I have left. The other one I had was butterscotch. It's Omica, and this is butterscotch. I use this. I like this in my chocolates when I make chocolates, because it kind of enhances a little bit of the chocolate, buttery, yummy. Oh. But if you don't even need much, I mean, you literally need just a couple drops. It's so potent. So, how long does it take for your body to be clean? It really depends on how much buildup you got going on. I was allergic to gluten and I didn't know it. Yeah, yep. Well, Carl, not all mouthwash has alcohol. And they're saying, studies have shown that the alcohol causes throat larynx cancers as well. So you have to be careful of that. For me, I didn't find out I was allergic on the positive until that incident in February of 2010. And all those years I had brain fog, I had buildup, I had really, really bad constipation all my life. To the point where I was doubled over in pain. I mean, at work, it was debilitating. It was so painful. I mean, and I sometimes have it happen still if I have food contamination, just the slightest bit. Hey, Judy! Woohoo! Hope you enjoyed your trip to Italy. I was loving your pictures. But for me, it took a while to get rid of the brain fog, to get rid of the inflammation and the body acne, because I had it really, really bad. And I didn't just change my diet right away, but I did start cleaning up and getting out of the gluten. That in itself is a big cleanup. But if you can do it cold turkey and you're just like, I believe you're juicing, right, Cindy? If you're juicing, it really can be really quick. But there's also emotional baggages that comes with all the buildup of the toxins that are in our system. Because everything we eat is a result of our beliefs and our situations, and we reach for stuff based on our mood, right? I like that Tom posted the other day, mood equals food, because that's so true. It starts in the mind. Nothing is done unconsciously except for you're not aware of it. It's sometimes it's conscious, sometimes it's unconscious. It's just stuck in you. Sometimes habitually you're just reaching and habitually doing things. So with juicing, you could be clean within, I don't know, maybe even a week. But you know your body. Your body turns over, and when you've been clean, because the body is completely regenerated after, 7 years totally? But you could even take longer, and it all depends on your lifestyle prior to the change, right? And to be kind with yourself. Honor yourself and just be grateful that you're aware now. Because it doesn't just happen overnight. I mean, I didn't just stop eating meat right away, although a friend said, hey, why don't you just go vegan if you haven't eaten any meat? And I was like, huh. But I didn't really like the label because, again, dogma is dogma, extreme is extreme. And when you put yourself in a box, other people get lazy and they hold you to it. Their version, their perception through their filters. And you have to be so careful about that because sometimes people are in resistance because what you're doing is posing them a threat to their own livelihood. When I first started changing my eating, I had experiences with people who were just they were aggressive. They were not nice to me about it. In fact, it was and I didn't figure it out over time right away. It took a while for me to recognize that, oh my gosh, what they're really upset at is I am making them confront what they know they need to do for themselves. And they're not willing, because they're so addictive to their own behaviors and patterns, they're unwilling to be open to change, to even consider, oh my God. Because what do? You go, oh, I could never do that. Yeah, you can always do something. It's just a choice. And sometimes that mind is so stuck. You are so oh, but I have to because I feed my family. I'm the cook in the house. You know what? Suck it up, baby. Cook for yourself. Let them figure it out on their own, okay? The only reason we hold people as a crutch is because we really want somebody else to be our excuse. You can choose to change, and especially as women, we're householders. People follow our suit in the house. If you're not the cook, well, then you need to be working on preparing your own foods. Yes. I like the Megan. Yeah, right? I'm Megan. Right? That's what's important. It's not about you or me comparing and judging. It's really accept me as I am. I'm on my path, you know? Every time I turn around, I'm learning something new. I'm like, oh my gosh. I buy all this food sometimes and I'm like, wow, I didn't get to half of it. Am I eating? You know, it makes you wonder sometimes, especially if you're single and you live by yourself and you're only eating for you. I get a couple watermelons because I'll eat a lot of watermelon, especially in the summer. But sometimes I'm like, man, I didn't even get to that other one yet. And I still got the my honeydew in the refrigerator because I gotta cut that baby open. And that's another good kombucha flavor. I've done cantaloupe with vanilla. Ooh, yummy, yummy, yummy. And I've done the honeydew. Yum. So good. And some of my friends out there have actually tried it and they loved it. It's peach or pork chop. If you say peach, it's oh my God. I have a girlfriend, her daughter's a teenager, and it's just so cute. Oh my God is like every other word out of her mouth. But I remember doing that when I was younger, so it's endearing to me. It's adorable because, oh my God, or better yet, oh my God, Becky, Look at her butt. I like big butts and I cannot lie. Okay, now I'm really rolling it back. Hey Erin, how are you? So I'm just wrapping up now. And I hope this was fun and informative. If you didn't get a chance to watch it from the beginning, please go back. It's fun. Get your Friday funk on and dance with me in the beginning. Hi, Jeanette again. And awesome. Watermelon's the bomb. I hope you have an amazing Friday. Thank God I'm free to choose how I handle each day, how I wake up, and how I respond to it. Life is happening for me. Oh, it is a new moon. So, 6:06 tonight, if you take the time, after that time, you got up to about, I think it's 3 days, 72 hours, start to write down your intentions of what you want to seed in there. What's your intention? What do you want to plant to turn into something? What do you want to manifest? You would be surprised what it is you have the power to create. So just use this moon and, set those intentions. Light a candle for yourself. Clear, let go of the garbage. And then welcome in the new, the brand new. And be grateful for every moment, because it's all a blessing. Gifts from every angle. I love you all. Thank you so much for supporting me and showing up today. Spread the love. I know my fellow supporters out there, I know you're Sharon and Karen. I can feel you. I do. I love you all so dearly. Have an amazing, blessed day. Mwah, 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 mwah. Bye. Until we meet again.